Story 1. The ability to move freely, walk, run, dance, and stretch is something you take for granted until you cannot. Story 2. How nice it is to live in a modern world with medicines such as antibiotics. Approximately 1/3 of us would probably be dead by now if it were not for modern medicine. Story 3. Birds. Many people never notice them or pay attention, but they are so lovely and varied. Even in very urban environments, there are many beautiful species of birds. Story 4. The fact that we can walk to a store and get any food or drink we choose is remarkable. Think about the vast variety of food and drink available. When items reach a certain date, they are discarded and replaced with new stock. This process is both impressive and alarming. Story 5. Being born to a mother and father who genuinely desired a child, and being loved, raised, and treated accordingly, is important. Not being so fortunate can have lasting negative effects throughout life. If a child is neglected or abused even briefly as a baby, the impact can be especially severe. Story 6. The here and now. Everyone is busy earning money for tomorrow, thinking about mistakes they made long ago, saving champagne for a special occasion, or worrying about what is coming next week, next month, or next year. All the todays are slipping away. Story 7. I truly believe most people do not appreciate how many hard-working individuals make life easier for everyone. From the farmers who grow food, to the maintenance staff who keep places clean, the factory workers who help make products, people who work in shipyards, truck drivers, and postal employees who ensure we receive our goods, even those who stock shelves with food and those who work in restaurants. There are many people such as teachers, hospital staff, and first responders. The list goes on. I never realized how much people contributed to my life until Texas froze over and COVID-19 locked us down. I salute all of you who make life worth living. Story 8. Government. The very idea of government is often criticized, but I would like to see people live without schools, roads, bridges, libraries, public utilities, consumer and worker protections, subsidies for education, and fire services. Story 9. Their mothers. Mine died nearly 7 years ago. I avoided her calls all the time. I avoided what I did not know would be the very last time she would call me. Story 10. Living in the modern world, people have access to drinkable water in their own homes, electric heating and lighting, penicillin, anesthesia, the ability to read and write, all the information in the world just sitting in their pockets, all the entertainment they could ever want, and much more. Despite all this, people are still unhappy, insisting that the world is awful. Technological progress is only going to make the world even better, short of something like runaway climate change or a nuclear war, both of which can be easily avoided. I am tired of all these people on social media acting like we are descending into some kind of idiocracy. Mankind has a bright future ahead. Be thankful you will get to see some of the advances made this century, from nuclear fusion to advanced artificial intelligence. I unfortunately will not live long enough to see it the way my life is going. Story 11. A home with running air conditioning, water, bed, stove, and shelter. You always take those things for granted until you are homeless or have to ration. Story 12. Instantly available, clean water with the turn of a knob. You do not carry it. You do not boil it. Half your town does not die from severe diarrhea every few years. Nobody dies of dehydration. You can clean yourself, your cooking utensils, and your home without concern. People think historic figures would be amazed by a cell phone or a car. They would be amazed by tap water. Story 13. Aging is exhausting. Seeing everyone pay to look young. Just accept that aging is normal and not everyone gets to experience old age. Story 14. Water comes right out of the taps in 2 flavors. Right in our own home. It is a remarkable miracle if you ask me. Story 15. How much effort goes into daily life? Keeping roads open, trains running, buildings cooled or heated, electricity grids functioning, and tap water clean. Story 16. Being liked. So many people have a verbal attitude that they do not care what others think about them. Today was a rather boring day, but I bumped into my nephew and we hugged. I had a good conversation with a friend of an acquaintance. A much younger woman called me sweetheart. I had a funny conversation with a friend of mine today. I managed to make my mom laugh today. On my way home, I said hello to a few people. It was kind of a boring day, but nothing bad happened and there were positive things, no matter how small. Just the idea that people do not think I am a total jerk makes me happy sometimes. Story 17. All the government agencies that keep us safe, the meatpacking inspectors, the restaurant inspectors, the Food and Drug Administration, the national parks, the health department, bridge and highway departments, the Environmental Protection Agency. You are too young to remember when the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. Safety standards for workers, whoever inspects toys and ensures kids' pajamas do not catch on fire. Yes, they may not be as good as they could be, but they are often underfunded. We will miss them if they go away. Story 18. The current season. When it is freezing during the winter, you cannot wait for summer. When it is hot and humid during the summer, you cannot wait for fall and winter. Just try to enjoy whichever season it currently is. Story 19. A roof over your head, constant access to food, water, and medicines. Or, in a slightly different direction, the basic ability to see and hear. I would also add that many people do not value their loved ones as much as they should. Story 20. Hearing. I had ear infections in both ears simultaneously for 4 days, and when they were cleared, I vowed never to use cotton swabs again. Story 21. The little things with their partner. No, not the chocolate bar he brought home to cheer you up. Smaller, everyday things, the time spent together when you were grocery shopping, or making dinner together after a long day at work, the idle chit-chat before sleep, and so on. Story 22. People who are not old enough to remember a time before smartphones. Smartphones are devices that allow communication with anyone, anytime, serve as a portable camera, an entertainment center, and provide instant access to almost all the information in the world. I am 65 years old. I lived over half my life before smartphones existed. I cannot even imagine going back to a time before I had one. Story 23. Electricity. Many people oppose clearing land or trimming trees for power transmission lines. Our society relies on electricity. Sometimes it is better for everyone's well-being to perform preventative vegetation management to prevent outages. Story 24. Life goes by in the blink of an eye. Stop and have fun once in a while, and do not care what others think. Story 25. Lighting. I often marvel at its ability to completely change the mood in a room, keep you awake, and make you feel less alone. Story 26. Adulthood. I am not the kid who says, "Oh, I want to grow up so I can buy a PlayStation 5. I do not play video games." Adults who think childhood is better, trust me, they feel less in control of things. Yes, children do not worry about taxes, but you only worry about taxes if you are poor or do not live in the United Arab Emirates. Life really kicks in between the ages of 22 and 28, in my opinion. I might be wrong since I am only 13 and a half years old. Story 27. Life as a human being. It is very possible that we are the only humanoid beings in existence in the vast universe. We can read, write, and comprehend complex ideas. We could have been born as animals, insects, or plants, or perhaps not born at all. How uniquely special and blessed are we to live our lives. Seeing people end their own lives or the lives of others is deeply saddening. I hope and pray to live a long, good life, and if reincarnation or being reborn exists, that I get to come back for a second round. Story 28. Public servants often work in highly technical roles that require extensive education, training, and experience. Despite being paid significantly less than their counterparts in the private sector, they are dedicated to their work because they are passionate about keeping communities safe. Unfortunately, former President Donald Trump and his associates have portrayed public servants to the nation as lazy individuals who do not work and who essentially steal from taxpayers. While there is a small percentage of such individuals, the vast majority of public servants are outstanding professionals who genuinely care about their work. Story 29. Toilets with plumbing are a relatively modern invention. In Australia, we used to have outhouses. Story 30. How so not special they really are, and how little they matter to the universe. Either all life is scared or none is. People are not more important just because they are people. Story 31. Access to food is remarkable. Most people in North America can simply drive to a store stocked with food that meets rigorous safety standards from around the world. This is truly extraordinary. Story 32. The magnitude of caring for you as a baby, the many resources used, the sleepless nights, the heartbreak when we said we hated them in anger. I think much of this can apply even to some bad parents. Story 33. Youth. Don't get me wrong, I still consider myself young. But there is nothing like being a child, exploring the world's wonders with fresh eyes and innocence. Story 34. Clean water is essential not only for drinking but also for pools and oceans where people swim and play. It is important to have clean water for cooking and personal hygiene. Story 35. Our ability to cooperate depends on choosing to do so and not letting others interfere for various reasons. All issues that seem like large societal problems ultimately come down to one-on-one human interaction. We do not have to solve big problems. We just need to be kind to one another according to our personal understanding. Not everyone has good intentions, but there is much more goodwill and positive outcome when we keep interactions simple. When things are good, it is easier to maintain kindness, act well toward others, and allow the good to improve. This can also work in the opposite way. It is literally each one of us individually. Like rice, you cannot have a bowl without each grain contributing. Each grain is small yet absolutely and critically essential. Story 36. People are not considering their own feelings and emotions and are doing everything while keeping in mind how others will judge them if they do those things. Appreciate your thoughts, emotions, and body, not just the physical. Story 37. Silence. No talking, no music, no birds, dogs, or cats, no television shows. The only thing you might hear is your own breathing, and preferably not even that. Also, a good night's sleep. Story 38. Not noticing how much skin gets scratched when taking off and putting on a backpack. When you get sunburned, you notice it much more, and it stings a lot more. Story 39. Looking at you, New Zealanders. Accident Compensation Corporation. Honestly, for all its faults, try living anywhere else in the world and accidentally hurting yourself. If you have no insurance and nobody you can easily sue for damages, you are probably in serious trouble. Story 40. I feel like people really do not appreciate humility. If you cannot admit you can be wrong, then you will continue to make mistakes until you push everyone away. It will not matter how successful you are. It will not matter the kind of person you try to be. If you treat everyone around you like they are nothing and only you matter, then do not be surprised when everyone ignores you and could not care less. Story 41. The fact that you can have a bag of spinach in your refrigerator for so long that it goes bad and you throw it away. Story 42. The power of belief itself. All human endeavors find their root in even a modicum of belief. Religion, morality, ethics, philosophy, art, music, and science. Story 43. Health. People drink alcohol, do not get enough sleep, do not eat healthily, and that is why people develop various illnesses. Story 44. Loving parents. Most parents would give up their lives for your happiness. It is that level of selflessness. Babies and adults who do not have the shelter, advice, or hug of parents do not know what they are missing out on. Story 45. Family and friends. Stay connected and spend as much time as possible with them. Nobody on their deathbed ever wished they had spent more time at work. Things are not as important as time with loved ones. Story 46. Being present. We are so used to the go, go, go mentality of modern life that pausing to simply exist in a moment seems silly or extravagant. Taking a moment to stop, breathe, and experience your surroundings, to engage the senses with phone down, no scrolling, no distraction, can be very soothing. Story 47. Living in a developed country, you have internet, running water, and electricity. You do not have to hunt for your food. The list goes on. Story 48. Nature. The sound of trees in the wind, the softness of grass, the smell of healthy soil in the woods, the quiet that comes at night, followed by the chorus of frogs and crickets in the thickets and under the rotting leaves. It is beautiful. I will never live in a city again. Story 49. The ability to have access to books, movies, music, television shows, and a high-end camera in your pocket is remarkable. When I was a child, carrying more than 1 or 2 books was a pain in the back. Televisions were not portable, and streaming services did not exist. If you did not rent, bootleg, or buy something for upwards of $80, you were at the mercy of the 3 major television networks. While we had Walkmans and mixtapes, I never carried the huge libraries of music that I have now. As for cameras, I used disposable cameras into my late 20s and got my first video camera on my 30th birthday, and it was very bulky. Story 50. Having people who truly care about you is pretty rare, but I have 5 people in my life that I love deeply. We don't just spend time together for company. We enjoy each other's presence and treat each other the way we hoped our families did growing up. Story 51. Kindness and empathy are qualities everyone desires. However, when others do not reciprocate them, kind and empathetic people may become withdrawn and hesitant to ask for it. Story 52. The fact that humans have been engineered to be much greater than we currently think we can be as a species. Story 53. Financial security. I have been trained to have this ability and appreciate the learning, but most people know that once they have money, their expenses consume it all. Story 54. Looking up. When you look up into the sky, day or night, no matter the weather, the absolute peace you feel is amazing. Suddenly, all the craziness of the world around you is far away. It is just you and the vast expanse of the sky above. You feel so small, and you realize just how unimportant most things really are. All that matters is the here and now, and you have time to think. Story 55. One's own health, physical, mental, and emotional, all of the above. Too many people take it for granted until it is gone. Story 56. Accountability. It died from the coronavirus, apparently. People seem to quietly accept that there is no longer accountability because it means they are not held responsible either. This has led to constant issues in society, from not enough workers showing up to work to managers not handling issues properly. Story 57. Having good friends is important. I thought my new classmates from grade 7 in 2015 would last all the way to grade 12 in 2020. But they left in grade 11 in 2019, and that is when I realized I did not value them enough. Now, as a college graduate, I understand that many of them did not truly care about me. Please value your friends while you still can and while they are still there. Story 58. The amount of nonsense food workers have to endure in a day is significant. Not just from customers but also from other workers trying to cover shifts. Please be kind to them. If you need extra items, ask for them all at once. Do not request one item, then another after it is brought, and continue repeating. They stand on cement floors for hours on end, which is hard on the body. Just be kind. Story 59. Good relationships with friends, family, and partners we sometimes take for granted. Also, good sex and bad sex are talked about a lot, but good sex is not. Why? Story 60. I would say living in a Western country in 2025. Most of us have it pretty good. We can actually live in a place that gives you the opportunity to make mistakes in your own life regardless of where and when you were born. Story 61. The internet, especially smartphones, is still relatively new in the grand scheme of things, but many of us use the internet for several hours a day. Story 62. Trains have been around since the 1820s. They can transport almost everything and travel farther than road vehicles. Story 63. Animals give their lives so that we can eat. There seems to be very little between complete denial and vegetarianism. We can eat and still acknowledge, appreciate, and support people who ensure animals receive decent treatment before we consume them. Story 64. Clean water almost always comes out of the faucet. Obviously, Flint, Michigan is an exception, along with some more rural areas or Native American reservations. Story 65. Staying seated after the movie is over and reflecting on it as the credits play. Not for the post-credit scene, but for thinking the movie over. Story 66. Potato. You just pop it in the oven, delicious. Fry it, delicious. Mash it, delicious. Add it to something to stretch it out because money is tight, delicious. Bake it, delicious. So cheap and easy to grow. Literally, just take one potato, cut it into pieces, bury it, and you have many potatoes. It is so nutritious you can live off it alone, as my vegan marine friend proved. You will need a calcium source, but that is literally it. What a wonder that we have this cheap, delicious, healthy food that is super easy to grow. Story 67. The fact that we were born into families that had the ability to take care of us. There are people living on the streets, and it is tough out there. No food for days, and when it gets cold, I do not even know. Story 68. What I personally noticed was that as hard as we try to appreciate most things, we just cannot. It just became so self-explanatory, and we got so used to it that we do not even think about appreciating what we have. For example, having an arm. When I think about people who do not have an arm, I feel sorry for them, but I just do not appreciate having an arm myself because I have always had one. No matter how much I force myself, I certainly do not. Is anyone else experiencing this? Story 69. The engineers who built giants like Open Artificial Intelligence, Google, International Business Machines, Meta Platforms, Microsoft Corporation, XAI, Reddit, or others remain unknown. I do not care how much they get paid. It is just not enough. Story 70. Animals or pets? I constantly see people think animals or their own pets are beneath them, and it is absolutely insane to me. I would literally die for my pets as if they were my own children. The pets I have had throughout my life have had a big positive impact on me and have made me feel very loved. Story 71. Do you understand the concepts of energy transfer, phase changes, voltage induction between two different metals, automated system control, and how they all relate? That is your refrigerator. Story 72. Childhood, you just think it comes for granted until you are an adult and absolutely wish you could go back to when you were a kid. Story 73. How much skill it takes to make clothing. Almost all clothing, even that $5 SHEIN dress, is made by humans. Story 74. Being alive. Most humans from history are dead. Further, there have been 13.8 billion years when your life did not exist. Then you get to live for maybe 70 years. After that, there will likely be another 13.8 billion years of not existing. God is not required to prove that life is special. Mathematics proves how special it is. Forget oil, forget gold, forget Bitcoin. Your time to be alive is the most valuable, unique asset there is. Story 75. You never have an excuse to be rude, and you cannot be angry if someone is rude back to you. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.